Okay. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow JCItes. I'm Tariq Nazir, the chapter president of JCI Colombo for the year 2020, president-elect actually for the JCI Colombo for the year 2020. I would like to thank everybody for joining our webinar on the value of JCI for entrepreneurs. I would like to specially thank our sister LOMs from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, who are also part of this webinar. I would like to extend my special gratitude to all the LOM presidents who actually have nominated their participants to be part of this webinar. Thank you for that. We are so honored by your distinguished presence, all the dignitaries over here, and also the LOM presidents and all members who are part of this seminar. Thank you very much. I'm coming amidst your busy schedule. Thank you so much for that. Now, I would like to start on the agenda items. First of all, I would like to call the meeting to order. The first item in the agenda. Now, I would like to call upon the webinar series of JCI Colombo, the value of JCI for entrepreneurs, an uncertain and certain opportunity advantage JCI, call to order at 4:03 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Next in the agenda, the recitation of JCI Creed. Let me call upon JC Praveen Dharmaraja, our Vice President for 2020, to recite the JCI Creed. I would request everybody to rise for the JCI Creed, please.
We believe
that
faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life.
That faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life.
That the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations.
That the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations.
That economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise.
That economic justice can best be won through free men and through free enterprise.
That government should be of laws rather than of men.
That government should be of laws rather than of men.
That Earth's great treasure lies in human personality.
That Earth's great treasure lies in human personality.
And the service to humanity is the best work of life.
And that service to humanity is the best work of life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, JC Praveen Nadaraja. Thank you so much. Next in the agenda is welcome speech. We cordially welcome you to the webinar organized by JCI Colombo on the topic of the value of JCI for entrepreneurs, for tomorrow's entrepreneurs. And we believe this is a timely topic amidst the challenging business environment right now with the events after COVID-19. This program aims at giving you more insight on how JCI as an organization can help businesses to rebuild, rebuild by networking and also create business opportunities locally and internationally. I sincerely hope this 1 hour session will be very useful and productive for everyone to meet the challenging, challenging business situation posed by the COVID-19. As you know, they call it the new normal. So you will be, with the instructions given by, Sunil sir, you would be able to get more light into how you can face the challenges COVID-19 would, put forward to. So now I would like to, the chair would like to recognize the presence of JCI Sri Lanka National President JC Dilhan Jayatilaka. I would like to recognize the presence of immediate past National President JCI Sri Lanka Anas Hussain. I would like to recognize the presence of International President, JCI International President for 1989, JCI Senator Isfahani Samin, and also our very own JCI Senator Sunil Kumar. And also I would like to recognize the presence of President JCI Hosur Lake City, Rajesh Subramaniam. Yes. Next in the item is the introduction of our speaker. Now I request our treasurer JC Shamshad Nizam to give an introduction of the speaker for today's evening session. Over to you, Shamshad.
Thank you, Tariq, our current president. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a warm welcome to everybody once again. Hope everyone is safe and sound during this quarantine time. I would like to quickly introduce myself. I'm Shamshad Nizam, the treasurer for JCI Colombo Chapter 2020. It's my privilege to introduce our guest speaker of this evening. He is an incredible personality who has done a lot for the training industry and mentored numerous individuals. He's a graduate of commerce with honors and a graduate of law. He's a popular trainer and public speaker. He heads a group of successful companies involved with marketing and travel and tourism. He's a qualified international trainer and life coach with involvement in training for more than 35 years. And heads up, 35 years. He is India's first and Asia's second international training fellow, an honor conferred by JCI University, USA. He has conducted over 1,400 training programs for 30 years in 17 countries. His specialty program is a Train the Trainer, with his alumni about 550 trainers during last 20 years who are coached by him. Also certified as India's first head coach to conduct Excel, he was the head coach and coach at several Prime and JCI Excel training programs in USA, France, Taiwan, and several in India. In 2019, after many years as the founder, member, and faculty, he was invited to revamp Nalanda as the key designer and trainer, which I was extremely lucky to be invited from Sri Lanka to participate to one of your biggest events and to meet you in person. Thank you so much for the learning opportunity. It was a spectacular event, sir. And also in the same year, he celebrated his 40 years of JC involvement, which is indeed a great accomplishment. Talking about his accomplishments, during his JCI career, he was awarded the Best Senator of Asia Pacific during 1994 Area Conference in Japan. He was also awarded the most prestigious Best Senator of the World Award during 1994 World Congress at Busan, South Korea. Also 100% Nom Award, the first time an Indian president got his award at Birmingham Conference during 1989. He also had a fantastic international presence. He was the World Vice President during 1991 and the World Executive Vice President in 1992, and also the Vice Chairman of Future of Children Committee at the International Model United National Program held in UN headquarters in New York. He also served as the advisor to the World President during 1994. Out of many things, he is also a writer. He authored books on personal effectiveness. They include Broadband Your Benchmarks, Best and Beyond, Success No Matter What, Managing Excellence, and Unlocking Uncertainties. Apart from his busy schedule, he loves to discover. He visited 86 countries and over 425 cities of the world for business and pleasure. He is currently the global president of UFTA, the acronym for United Federation of Travel Agents Associations, and leads a global board of his important and in the growing industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to welcome on behalf of all the people, the man you have been waiting for, JCI Senator Sunil Kumar K. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, JC Shamshad. Now I would like to officially hand over the floor to JCI Senator Sunil Kumar sir for his session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a slide check. I hope the slides come up. And this is also voice check. Am I audible, Tariq?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you very much. Distinguished past world president and my very, very dear friend. I've been a part of JCI as a national president when Isfahani was the world president. Very distinguished Isfahani Samin, national president of Sri Lanka, immediate past national president of Sri Lanka. My friends from all over Sri Lanka, from the other countries who are participating in this event. What a great pleasure it is to be addressing you on a subject that your organizers decided that I must touch upon, a subject concerning focus on entrepreneurs, especially in this very difficult scenario, and how connecting to JCI would support a larger opportunity for us to rehabilitate, come back in a bigger way. And therefore, the subject is Tomorrow for Entrepreneurs, and uncertain to a certain opportunity. And I call it Advantage JCI because if you're a JCI member at this point of time, I believe you stand to a better opportunity. Margaret Drabble said, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. Aren't we in a situation where there's a lot of uncertainty, which means nothing really is sure? But then the brighter side of it is, in such a situation, there's a possibility that we can go beyond who we are, that we can achieve beyond what we have already achieved. And hence this subject, that we need to identify and optimize ways which will help us encounter this uncertainty. Bill Clinton said something very nice, and I keep recalling him many times for this statement. He said the price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. Many of us, on most occasions in our life, are faced with a situation of regret. We regret that I should have joined JC's a few years before. We regret that we should have grabbed that opportunity when it came to us on the first occasion. We regret that we hadn't bought that plot of land which was available to us. We were passing by that plot. We had money, but we didn't have the vision to buy. We regret that we were too late into getting across with a business. We should have got into that business a few years before. So there are a lot of situations in life when we regret. And a year from now, most of us will wish we had started today. So in other words, what really matters today is we need to start looking at how to optimize who we are, how to optimize the situation in which we are, and how to take our connect with JCI forward. Since this is a program focused for entrepreneurs, as I've been informed, let me start off defining for all of us so that we are on the same page actually what entrepreneurship is all about. It's a very long definition, but to cut it short, it's all about creating value. Whatever we do in life, we need to create value. We need to build value into it. You're running your organization, you're developing yourself, you're building goodwill, you need to add value into it. It's our capacity and willingness to develop, to organize, and to successfully manage an enterprise, right? So we need that capacity. I believe all of us have that capacity. And we need that willingness to develop. Some of us may not have that willingness to develop. We have the capacity, but possibly we lack that willingness to develop. We need to organize and successfully manage an enterprise. It's also about proactivity and adapting to change. Now, this is what entrepreneurship is all about. And if you're looking at tomorrow from the eyes of an entrepreneur, from the eyes of a business leader, then I think we are currently looking at times where we need to awake from what our past has been and try and take life forward to make it more productive. Carl Gustav Jung, he said it very well. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakes. For many of us, dreams have been a part of our life. We keep saying, I dream that I must do this. I have dreamt that I must have this house. I wanted to achieve that position. Well, they're all because we are looking outside. But there are times when we need to get up. We need to try and start looking at a lot of wealth that is there inside all of us. So we need to awake because it's time for us to look inside. My favorite statement for any business leader, for any entrepreneur, for any leader, and this is something that I'm very fond of. I keep using this statement very often. And my statement is that for you to prove that you are a leader, a business leader, you must be strong enough to buy. You must be strong enough to buy, or you must be good enough to be bought. All of us may not be strong enough to buy. We may not have wallets packed with unlimited wealth, that we can buy anything that we want. But yes, I believe all of us can be the second part without a problem. Good enough to be bought. Create a goodwill about yourself. Create a story about yourself. Market yourself by your deeds, by your actions, so that people will come forward to you and say, I would like to get associated with you. When I say good enough to be bought, meaning to get accepted in life. So my dear friends, first message for my colleague entrepreneurs. If you really have to look at big times ahead of us, remember this statement. Be strong enough to buy or be good enough to be bought. If you're neither, then you're having a problem. And we can't have such problems confront us and deplete us of our strengths and resources. Let's take a look at today, before this COVID, a little before this COVID. The world was very excited, right? A year ago, 9 months ago, any training program, even Nalanda that we were referring to, we were all very excited. We talked about how the current generation has successfully encountered a very fast changing environment. Today's trends confirm that we had made this world very different from its previous. When I say we, our current generation. As a result, we are a re-engineered world. In other words, this world that came to us as a legacy, the current generation has padded it up so well that today it is the people of the world who are ranked as achievers, and they are responsible for having achieved a colossal evolution. Emerging economies all over the world, especially in the East, exponential impact by technology and digitization. We see that happening every day. Look at the political scenario of the world today. Thanks to the minds of the current leadership of the world, economic borders are diminishing. World literally has become a village. It's so easy to be a global entrepreneur. You can have a partner from your country. You could have a partner from some part of North Asia. You could have a partner from some part of US. You could have a partner from some part of Europe. Manufacture a product, market the product, and be visible globally. What a wonderful evolution has taken place in this world. We are talking about interdependence between nations. which drives our globonomics today. India has a very large stock market, and I use India as an example. Our stock market not only functions based upon the success of the industries or the organizations who are a part of the stock market, but is highly influenced by the stock markets of Asia, Europe, and America. If there's a downfall in the Asia stock market, for sure the Indian stock market gets rattled. So the interdependence between nations has become so strong that we can't afford that another nation gets into difficult situation, because if they get into difficult situation, it is very important for us to realize that it can negatively impact us. So we have gone through this process over the last several decades, and the kind of evolution we have seen, especially between 1980 to 2020, 40 years, has been remarkable. Creativity, innovation, digitization, whatever name you want to give it to it. The world is a far different world. And we are the most blessed amongst generations to be gifted this kind of a world. But what happened today? Another possibility that was not imagined has arrived. I use the word another for the simple reason this is not for the first time that something like this is happening to this world today. We have the coronavirus pandemic, and the impact it created on the life has been tremendous. It's an uncertainty that has unlocked before us. We never thought of this. It opened up and has impacted all of us, no matter which background we come from, which business we come from, which country of the world we come from. It has shaken the confidence of people. Lives are challenged. People are living under fear psychosis. There's a lockdown. They don't want to go to a friend's home to have a drink or invite a friend home anymore. They are scared about it. So there's a threat. What happens to me if I go out? It's a very contagious happening. Will it hurt me? So that fear has actually challenged lives. It continues to challenge life. The number of deaths every day is on the rise, which is causing a lot of nervousness to governments. All sustainable organizations, industries, businesses, they're all disrupted. Companies which took 20 years to build up, they say we'll lose in 1 year. I come from the business of travel and tourism. My company is 32 years old. Let me share this with you. Not only as a representative of my company, but I am also the global president of the World Travel and Tourism Associations. Sri Lanka is a part of our association, TASL, Travel Agents Association of Sri Lanka. And we've been working on it. And we all are aware that whatever happened in 10 years to build up to our current position, overnight has gone away. A lot of airlines are getting into bankruptcy. There's no money out there for the airlines to refund to the passengers. Because of that, a lot of organizations have been affected. Tourism organizations, Sri Lanka Tourism has been investing so much in the last several years. They've earned a great name. They're also going through problem. So sustainability wherever is totally disrupted. But what happened? Because of the lockdown that we are arrested into, a lot of opportunities are unleashed. For those of us who have to identify these opportunities because they are connected to our tomorrows, it's important for you to believe that you must find out opportunities for yourself. So for those people who are hunting for new opportunities, what happened to them? Unlearning has got unfastened. What is unlearning? Taking a lot of rigid thoughts from your mind, thoughts that influence you, throwing them out so that you are able to think better, because you will be thinking differently when you start thinking new ways than the ways in which you were thinking before. And unlearning is happening very quickly. I hear a lot of people telling me, I never thought I could get connected to a Zoom. But Zoom has become an everyday activity, even for someone who was never connected with Zoom a month ago. Paradigms are shifted. Paradigms are maps in our minds. They are maps that influence our thinking. And these paradigms are getting shifted. People have started believing and are currently working to identify new approaches to live, to do business, to run your enterprise. As a result, all thoughts are getting re-engineered once again. When I say thoughts re-engineered, automatically call it persuaded, call it motivated. People are now starting new process of assessing the way forward. As a result, I am excited that confidence is getting rebooted. When I say confidence rebooted, new levels of confidence are emerging in people. Over a period of time, everyone starts saying, well, I think I will do something more. I will be able to achieve something more. A lot of people are now, I'm glad that they are back to say that this pandemic cannot cripple me. I will go beyond this. I will achieve my sustainability once again. So people have started realizing that for them to be successful in tomorrow's, it is up to them. So confidence is getting rebooted. Let me quickly share with you a thought about the past. But before I do that, I must mention this to all of us. The disasters cannot stop us. Several disasters of the last 100+ years could not stop the world and its people. Several generations before us proved successful. What am I trying to say? All I'm saying is, this is not the first time that we are confronted with a disruption or with a disaster. In 31 years, 1914 to 1945, at least I can name 3 global major disruptions that have struck humanity. Look at the duration. When these disasters existed before our previous generations, First World War lasted for 5 years, 1914 to 1918. Second World War lasted for 6 years, 1939, 1945. There was another endemic, an epidemic called influenza, and it was for 4 years. It was for 3 years, January 1918 to December 1920. It's known as the influenza 1918. And what happened? We lost countless people, massive wealth, energies. Because of the World War, there was a very big human divide. If you look at the duration of coronavirus, it's hardly 4 months to some of us, maybe 5 months to some of us, or maybe 3 months to few of us. And we are talking about 3 months and we call it a disruption, when the earlier disasters, which were much more severe, they lasted for years. Didn't people survive? Didn't people overcome these disasters? I read that influenza, when it came in, affected 1 in every 3 people in the world. 1 in every 3 persons. That was the impact of influenza, or the Spanish flu as it is commonly referred to. So my dear friends, the current global environment has posed extensive uncertainty. Many are not prepared for it. We were not prepared for it. Let's be very clear. If we were prepared, we would have become more proactive, but we were not proactive at all. Governments were not proactive. Nations were not proactive. Economies were not proactive. Large organizations were not proactive. Everybody is taken by surprise. It has caused extensive damage. So what is the way forward? Think about it. Is there a way forward? I believe the way forward is identify opportunities that are very certain. That's why I say identify certain opportunities. JCI and its opportunity can possibly support us in a big way, because there are a lot of strengths in JCI that are very, very useful for everyone to sustain success levels in our own businesses as well. I talk about JCs a couple of slides later, but let me close my big question before all of us, that there is a disaster that has struck us. It is attacking us. It is attacking our enterprise, and we need to find ways to go beyond. We need to be confident that we can survive or overcome this challenge that is posed on humanity. There's a Dale Carnegie quote, and he said, most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. I think that's a fantastic statement. For some of us who believe there's little hope, or there's no hope, or there's lesser hope, we need to believe it is during these times that our skill is at test, our capability is at test, and we need to rise beyond and prove superior to circumstance. I've done a lot of presentations in the last 15-20 days, and to some of them I have mentioned what's happened to us is we need to look at it as a pit stop pause. Remember the Formula One race. There's a pit stop, and the entire race comes to a halt. The race driver, his vehicle, his teams all assemble at the pit stop. What happens in a pit stop? It's not just refuel. Mechanical adjustments are made. There's refueling, which is building up energy, right? Tires are changed. There's a recharge and strategies that are worked for the next run. So a pit stop is so important. The team gets together. They think of what happened in the last run and what must happen in the next run. So pit stop is a breathing time. It's a time of introspection. It's a time when people start reviewing their resources and revising their strategies. So I think for us, my dear friends, this pandemic that has possibly locked many of us indoors, it has put us into a pit stop. So it's just a pause. It's not the end of the world. And it's an excellent way for us to start looking at who am I? We need to start putting ourselves to a situation of review. The question that we need to ask is, you are so much more than you think you are. You are so much more than you think you are. So when you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible. So it's time for us to become invincible, take on the role of trying to find out what makes it easy for us for a way forward from here. If we are entrepreneurs, we must have a better way to move forward. May I ask at this point of time to Tariq, can you come in to share with us, if everything's going well mechanically, voice and the slides?
Yes, sir. Everything is going perfect. Everything.
Thank you very much.
Perfect, sir.
Thank you very much, Tariq. I'll start off with a small story which is based upon a small tenet. Only when we action learning, we can experience evolution. It's a very important tenet for us. Only when we action learning, it means we're all learning, but we may not be actioning it at all. A lot of learning has gone into making us who we are. You may be 60 years old, you may be 50 years old, you may be 30 years old. No matter what your age is, no matter what your background is, a lot of learning has been invested into you. But then unfortunately, our problem is we have not applied a lot of our learning. So the statement that only when we action learning, we can experience evolution in us is a very important subject for us as we discuss the way forward. Its failure deprives us of change. What it means is when we learn, we apply. And when we apply, that brings about a change in all of us. So it's our right to be blessed with change to help us face better situations. But because we are not applying learning, there's no change that is happening and we are deprived of it. This story of the elephant is all related to a subject called PMS. And PMS stands for Premature Mindset Syndrome. Premature Mindset Syndrome. How do I explain it to you? Look at this story. There's an elephant tied to a very small pole with a rope that's not too strong for the elephant. The moment one of its foot is tied to the pole, the elephant stops moving. The question is, when the elephant has so much strength, why one? It can unlock itself from even hundreds of poles. Why does it behave and not attempt to get away from the pole? The answer is, when the elephant was very small, when it did not have that strength, its foot was tied to the pole with a rope. It tried to pull out because it was very small. It didn't have enough energy. It never was able to get away. That has influenced the elephant, that whenever I am tied to a pole, I will never be able to get away. Now the elephant has become 100 times stronger than that baby elephant. It has grown up. It could easily get away. But it's a mindset syndrome here, a premature mindset syndrome. It starts believing that because its foot is tied to the pole, it can't get away. This is called premature mindset syndrome. That's affecting many of us. Because some of us are scared to take up big challenges because there's a failure reinforcement or failure forecasting. Somebody failed. We are aware of it. It's created an impact on us. We don't want to fail, so we don't want to attempt it. That's what it actually means. So my dear friends, as we plan our way forward, we need to get away from those syndromes or the comfort zones that have arrested our thought process, our actions. And the question is, who am I versus who can I be? We need to understand this during our pit stop regime. Make a great assessment about yourself. Am I relevant today? Is my skill relevant today? Is my knowledge relevant today? Is my product relevant today or my service relevant today? Something that we need to start asking. Number two, growth. Am I growing up? Is there development in my organization? Am I optimizing situations? Do I jump or grab opportunities? Have I done things that people haven't done in a quick span? Have I optimized all opportunities that have come our way? Do I take up simple tasks or do I always look forward for tougher tasks? Most of the time we want to take up tasks that we can do. We try to get away from tasks which we believe we cannot do because our mind is telling us you cannot do it. That PMS is haunting us. So we start looking at easy goals, achievable tasks. We don't want to attempt difficult tasks, impossible tasks. Game changer. Who can I be? I believe I must be the game changer. So all I'm trying to say is, on my way forward, beyond COVID-19, there is an urgent need for me to get accepted. and I have to start a journey. Where do I start? Thankfully, if I'm a member of JCI, I am privileged because I have a skill, or I can at least sharpen my skill. I can develop my skill. I have some contacts. I can connect with those contacts. I can network with people beyond. So in my opinion, those of us who are looking forward to remain connected, optimize the advantage of JCI, should start a little more awareness program on how can JCI build us or support us to achieve success as we drive our enterprise. For me, 1979 earmarks the beginning of a new journey in my life. Thank you very much for reading out my profile. But for me, I must mention more than the profile, what mattered was from 1979 till what I am today, I owe every bit to this great organization because it's made me a different person. It's made my life a very different one. Gave me so much of confidence. Has it only taught you learning? No, it was a comprehensive transformation. JCs doesn't merely teach you, it supports you to transform. When you're willing to embark on the leadership opportunity the organization offers, for me and for all of us who are a part of JCs, our concept of leadership is redefined. We have skills, thanks to JCs, call it communication skills, leadership skills, decision-making skills, team building skills, global connect skills, whatever you want to name it. All our skills got sharpened. There's a wealth of experience that JCI has been able to gift to millions of people across the world. The growth and development opportunity. I think Junior Chamber International is certainly to be recalled, and the association with this outstanding organization can be of great value. I cannot forget this statement. Wake me up at 2 in the morning and you will find me like a national anthem of a country. I would be able to, by heart, share with anyone and everyone for the last 40 years this great perspective. And look at a powerful statement Henry Giesenbier made, which is actually transformed lives of the world. From within the walls of the soul of this organization, wherein the foundation of character and good citizenship are laid, I hope a message will come forth in the sometime of tomorrow that will stir the people towards the establishment of a permanent and everlasting world peace. His final goal was world peace, but he had so much more to say that it is important that we are all provoked in life. It is important that we must follow the foundation of character and good citizenship. How could we do that if you're not a part of a JCI and get immersed into the philosophy of the organization? Universities and institutions are there in the world. What do they offer? They offer medicine, they offer engineering, they offer law, they offer arts, commerce, architecture, education, linguistics, business management, and more. Tell me one institution, tell me one university that offers life. I therefore always refer JCI as the university of life. It teaches us how one can live in life, inspires us to take up those connects which support us to be an important leader in this world. If its mission is to provide development opportunities to empower young people to create positive change, the most important phrase of this mission is that we must all be able to create a positive change. And business is an opportunity that is there for all of us. So my dear friends, when I say advantage JCI, Let me give you an example of how much is the advantage JCI all about. You must have heard about BNI. It's globally very popular. It's called Business Network International. I've addressed them a number of occasions, and I see a lot of connect that's established between them. Very, very powerful, growing at a very high speed. The purpose of BNI is members increase their business through a structured, positive and professional referral marketing program. In BNI, there are 270,000 members in over 9,400 chapters. BNI also calls them chapters. We in JCs also use our LOM as chapter. 270,000 members worldwide. It's considered as the world's leading referral organization. Look at the 2019 statistic. Members' referrals generated $16.2 billion US. In 2019, the revenue because of BNI was $16.2 billion US. Now you must be wondering, why am I talking about BNI? Is Sunil a member of BNI? No, I'm not a member. But I have been connected with them in their training activities. I'm talking about BNI because I want to recall IBN. I was on the JCI Executive Committee in 1992. 91, I was the Vice President. And at that point of time, JCI had amended its mission to add entrepreneurship. And at that point of time, launched a program called IBN. It was known as International Business Network. And we were a part of the ExCom when this subject came up for discussion. So you will find the earlier one, it is Business Network International, and in JCI, it was called International Business Network. I don't know why it's not continuing today, but I must salute JCI for launching the entrepreneurship or the business opportunity into its areas of opportunities, and at that time made IBN a global debate. We're not right now discussing what happened to IBN, where it is, because I think that will deviate our subject. So my question is, well, there's an organization called JCI. There's an opportunity called post-COVID-19, where we need to overcome the current challenge that this environment has posed. And comes the final part of my presentation is what is my way forward. I believe my way forward is to enhance my effectiveness. Do I drive my living, or does my living drive me? This has to be our first question that we must address today. There's a small happening, and I call it the street light effect. Let me share with you what is the street light effect. There was a guy in the night near a street lamp, kneeling down and searching for something. It was a dim light and he was searching for something. A policeman was passing by. He saw this guy kneeling on the road and said, "Hey, what's happening? Where are you? What are you doing?" He said, "Sir, I lost my car keys. I'm searching for my car keys." The policeman was a good guy. He also tried to help this man find out the car keys. They couldn't find the car keys. He asked this guy, "Where is your car?" And this guy showed a pointing finger to the other side of the road, which was dark. And he said, "That is where my car is." So the policeman saw the car parked in dark. He asked him, "Where did you lose your keys?" He said, "I lost it near my car." He said, "How come you lost your keys near your car on the other side of the road? And you're searching for the keys here. Why?" And this man said, "Sir, there's no light there. There's light here. Therefore, I'm searching for my car keys." Now, this is what exactly not getting out of comfort zones could imply. Today, one wonders how life was lived before. We have Googleization, we have Uberization, we have Appleization, we have Amazonization. So much of digital empowerment is gifted to us. And today, without these inventions or innovations, we wouldn't have been better connected with the world. So when you have all of this with us, the question is, okay, I have to start all over again, or I have to move to a different level. I need to be connected with my world. Am I ready? Do I have the skills to be relevant in this new world? And I must start the process of learning all over again. And this pit stop pause is a super time to learn. Remember, learning is never ending. So we are talking about learning, we are talking about applying that learning, and we are talking about new achievements. So the question is, how much of our learning is actually leading into actions? Does our new learning support skill development? For me, when I joined JCI, I was learning with JCI. Did it support my skill development? Yes. It made me a speaker, it made me a trainer, it made me a writer, it made me a leader. It gave me confidence to travel all over the world, right? It gave me a global connect. So there was a lot of skill development that has taken place. Do we see a rise in our confidence levels because we are learning? Are we attempting new approaches as we live? These are the questions we need to ask today. We need to see a lot of new learning happen. We need to rush in to apply this learning. Our learning must today support our skill development. It should see a rise in our confidence levels and help us attempt new approaches. So what's happening? The only way for us, my dear friends, is we must change. We must start looking at new ways. Whatever made us successful in the past won't make us successful in the future. We are talking about change. We must be a part of this change. For me, change right now is an acronym. So let me share it with you. What is it that you and I need to do tomorrow? We need to start comprehending. Comprehensively comprehending what is it that I must do from now till another 2 years, because business will not be the same again. Customers will not spend the same money again. The fear will continue in people. What do I do? Am I honing my skills? Honing is sharpening. Am I honing my skills? Am I honing my capabilities? So I must start to change a bit of my foresight into who I am, to what I can be. I believe my skills are still not complete. There's a lot of sharpening I need to do. All of us, no matter who we are, we need to sharpen our skills to make us more relevant. There's a big environment there asking us to adapt. It's like adapting to the changed environment. Be very flexible. Importantly, we must action ourselves. We must navigate. It's like driving a car. You must drive yourself. We must experience growth. It's not enough if you experience physical growth. There's got to be intrinsic growth. And finally, at the end of a couple of years, we must say it was a great experience. Going beyond COVID was a super experience. I had published a number of books. One of them is called Broadband Your Benchmarks. It was an advanced Nalanda we did. For 5 years, I had done 5 such programs called Vedas. And we had published a book on every occasion. This was a book called Broadband Your Benchmarks, published about 15 years ago. In that book, we talked about a concept called C2C. Everybody thought C2C was consumer to consumer, because B2B was business to business and B2C was business to consumer. So we said, let's try to make a different shift from where our mindset is. So we created a concept called C2C, which was competition to creativity. It primarily meant that most of the creativity in this world was possible because of competition. So competition is important if you're looking at going for creativity. But today, post-COVID, I must declare that C2C has a new meaning today. And you must be aware of this meaning. It is actually communication to commerce. This is what the next few years will be about. How well you connect with people beyond. All of us are very active on social media. What's the point connecting on social media when it can't transform into business opportunities? I see a lot of networking which may have been social before, but now they will be blessed with commerce. So communication to commerce is the way forward. We have to be very quick during this transitioning time. As entrepreneurs, if you want to become a champion of the post-COVID scenario, be good enough to be bought, then I think you must be very quick at the transition with your new strategies, with your new goals. So when I say what is our way forward starts with the first mover advantage. What are you doing now which others are not doing? What is your strength? We must be able to multiply our communication. More important, we must get more visible on social platforms in a very big way. It's important that we are ready to access resources. Cash discounts or prepaid incentives, these are going to last for a longer period of time and much more. So my dear friends, for us, from the pit stop to the field to the highway, it's transition time and we need to be very brisk. Because I see a lot of situations where a person with a cash, he will be the king. There'll be a lot of resources organizations will require. So are you ready to access your resources? I was asking a few friends, what have they done during the past 5 to 8 weeks? I was disappointed with some answers. Here are a few questions I would like to ask you. My dear friends, during the past 5 to 8 weeks, which may have been your lockdown period, have you been able to review business plans? Have you been able to clear your backlog? Have you been able to unlearn? Have you been able to expand your knowledge? Have you developed new skills you were not good at? Or have you been able to sharpen your skills? Do you have growth plans to evolve? Did you make an attempt to author a book? Well, during the past 5 to 8 weeks, have you been able to do this? Were you involved with any other key activity? So my question is, what exactly have you achieved in the 5 to 8 weeks? Because in a pit stop, in a short duration of time, there is so much achievement that takes place. Have you used it well? If you haven't, let's start using it from today, because the lockdown may not be there forever. So you need to actually start looking at yourself. My advice to people is, if we have only killed our time during the past 5 to 8 weeks, sitting at home, watching a movie, possibly trying to kill your time. When I say kill your time, you're not investing your time. If we have only killed our time, it actually means time has almost killed us. But if we have optimized our time, surely time did support our optimization. So what have you done? This is what we were supposed to do. Have we done this? Or have we just killed our time? Growing up begins with us. We can't talk about growing up. Remember, my dear friends, there are only two pains in life. One is the pain of discipline. Other is the pain of regret. What it means is, if you want to be disciplined, let's say personal discipline, right? As an example, whenever you want to be disciplined, it's a pain. It's not easy to be disciplined. And the other is a pain of regret. I talked about regret when I started this session. A lot of us regret. Now there are only two pains in life. One is a pain of discipline and the other is a pain of regret. My dear friends, discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. So we can't regret. we can't regret. The most shocking discovery for all of us is this picture. It's a very life-size picture of every one of us. And the shocking discovery for many people is many people grow older without growing better. Many people grow older without growing better. So you have the option. Do I only want to grow older? Unfortunately, you can't stop this growth. Unfortunately, you can't stop this growth. Will I only grow older or will I also grow better? The second one is a control at your command. Now look at an example here. We are all connected to Zoom. There are so many of us who are connected to Zoom. And an example of what can happen when we try to put learning into application, it means so much today to the world. Zoom was founded by a guy called Eric Yuan, Silicon Valley, USA. He founded it in 2011. The video communication tool went public when? April 2019, exactly 1 year ago. He acquired it from WebEx at Cisco. And today, last year Zoom had 10 million people. There were 10 million users last year. How many do they have today? 200 million. 10 million to 200 million. In 2018, the value of Zoom was 1 billion US dollars. In April 2019, its value is nearly $16 billion. And Eric joins 50 most successful people with Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. I can give you many more examples, but all I would like to say is that we must try and look at our tomorrow from a completely different perspective. If COVID has come in uninvited, if COVID has come in when we were not prepared, if COVID has attempted to cripple us, if COVID has actually taken away a lot of liberties, don't you worry. Trust yourself. Trust your skills. Trust that learning you can achieve from JCI. I'm so delighted. JCI all over the world. I don't think there's any other organization that is involved in so many learning webinars. And you're doing a fantastic work. Ricardo Guadalupe, who is the CEO of Hublot, he says every time we start a new project, we always ask ourselves the same question. Think about it. What could be this question? This is the CEO of Hublot asking us. He says, every time we start a new project, we always ask ourselves the same question. I'm asking you to guess. What is the question that this guy asks? The question is, what can we do better and what can we do different? What can we do better and different? This is a question every time when there's a new initiative that is asked, and I'm asking us to be inspired by this statement. When you take up a big task tomorrow, how can this task make me better and how can this task make me different? How can my way forward beyond COVID-19 create or bring about that difference in me, make me a much better guy? I think it's important, my dear friends, that we need to get into a lot of doing in life. Learning is not enough. And for every entrepreneur, I must say that we must look at a certain opportunity during this most uncertain time. I can wish you all the very best and trust that in the years to come, especially with your connects around the world, if you're a part of JCI, develop your connect, build your connect. A digitization initiative like Facebook has connected me with so many friends in the world. Those were the people who were very active JCs in the 90s, 80s, and I feel so thrilled to be connected with them. So it's very important. That's why I say advantage JCI. It's like a tennis game. It's a tie. So we are at the tie with the world now. One side it's you, one side it's COVID-19. Then who's got the advantage? JCI has the advantage. Therefore, it's advantage JCI. Let's try, find better ways to take our life forward and look forward to prove to ourselves more than anybody else that I have been successfully able to encounter this disaster, this disruption. And as a result of this disruption, I may have gone back a little bit, but it's like a graph comes down, but then it zooms up again. So we're going to be zooming up again. We're going to be zooming up to confirm to ourselves that we have proved beyond circumstance. All the very best, my dear friends. Have a great time. Thank you, JCI Colombo, for broadcasting this session. I wish it was a live session where we could have had a lot more interaction, but I'm aware of a Q&A session that follows. And before I close, my respects and my grateful thanks to past world president Isfahani. It's such a pleasure, Isfahani, to be connected with you. The manner in which you led JCI as a president is very rare. The quality of leadership that you reflected in all that you did. I still recall your meeting at Hyderabad when I accompanied you, and to several other places in India. You always created a roaring impact wherever you go. And the manner in which you chaired the Birmingham Congress on the day you started, the Berlin Wall fell. You're aware of that, Isfahani. 9th November, on one hand, you called the JCI Congress to order, and on the very same day, the Berlin Wall fell. It was a historic moment for the world. And thank you for making me recall all this. It's such a pleasure to be having connected with an event which has your presence. God bless. All the very best. Thank you very much. Over to you, Tariq.
Right. Thank you so much, Sunil sir. I actually don't have much words to say. I would say one thing. It's a confidence reboot for me, definitely, after hearing a lot of things what you actually said. Right. So I believe we learned a lot on how we need to shape ourselves post-COVID-19. Out of this session, I hope you all can practice everything in your day-to-day lives and your business, I would say. And next, I would like to recognize the presence of a few more individuals who are here. I would like to recognize the presence of JCI Bangladesh non-member Mahira Abib. I would like to recognize the presence of Zone President Samantha Victory. And I would like to recognize the presence of few long presidents like from India. Thank you so much for your presence. Now I would like to go to the next item in the agenda, which is a speech by our special guest, JCI Senator Isfahani Samin, past world president, the only world president Sri Lanka had produced so far. I would like to call our world president Isfahani Samin to give a small speech. It's over to you, sir.
Tariq, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir. You're audible now, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, President Tariq, for having invited me to be a part of this session, which has been organized by your chapter, the Colombo JCs, which is the mother chapter of our organization in Sri Lanka. To be very honest, I am actually a nursery student in this webinar via Zoom program, because this is the first occasion that I've ever participated in a webinar program. When I was told by President Tariq that there is a session with Sunil Kumar, past National President of JCI India and past JCI Executive Vice President of JCS International, I jumped at it. you believe me, it's almost 7 weeks of lockdown in Sri Lanka. I've never looked at any webinar programs, nor have I participated. This is the first one, because the moment I was told that Sunil is making a presentation, I wanted to be there. He's such an outstanding individual. He was one of the national president in 1989 when I was the world president. He was leading JCI India, a remarkable individual, an outstanding leader who went on to become an international vice president and an international executive vice president. He mentioned a little while ago about the reception and the welcome he gave me when I visited his own city, Hyderabad, during my official visit to India. I am not going to speak about the subject as such, because I think Sunil has actually presented a session which is an eye-opener for people who think that we are finished. He made some excellent points for us to think and to get activated. Let me talk about our organization during this pandemic this year. We are, if you look at it, we are not in the best shape. There's no doubt about that. Out of the 4 international conferences, 3 conferences have already been cancelled. The African Conference, the Conference of the Americas, and the European Conference. The only conference that is left to be held is the Asian Pacific Conference, which is going to be in Cambodia. And that is now rescheduled for August. And I am not sure at this stage whether that would be held in August, which means we would have not had all our 4 conferences for this year. And the only event that we have for JCI for this year, internationally speaking, is the World Congress in Yokohama in November. I am hoping and praying that we will all be able to attend the Yokohama conference in Yokohama, Japan in November this year. Sunil was talking about the communication, the context JCI provides our members. Let me tell you of an incident that happened during the pandemic. Thomas Osman, a past national president of JCI Sweden, maybe Sunil will be knowing him, he went on to become a JC's international vice president. He and his wife was cruising in the Caribbean on a cruise ship when the pandemic started. And there was a suspicion that he was a coronavirus suspect. The ship went to Florida, and both he and his wife were offloaded from the ship in Florida. And for some reason, his wife had to leave, was actually asked to leave the United States, which meant that only Thomas Osman was in a hospital in Florida. He had nobody else there. And I saw a message on Facebook by Kjell Peterson, who is a past world president from Sweden, saying that Thomas Osman is in a hospital in Florida. Is there anybody who can help him because he has nobody there? There were so many current JCs who said, oh yes, we have, there was somebody who said we have mayors, city mayors in Florida who will be able to help him. And so many people reacted to that post by former world president Kjell Peterson. But that was only just a few offers, but nothing really happened. Arno Godeya, who is a past world president from Mauritius, 1994 JCI world president, picked up this message and was reacting to it and calling people in Florida to see whether somebody can help him. You know, who really started working on this request? A former JCI staff officer, Mondeneji, I'm sure Sunil knows him, from Tunisia. He's now, when our world headquarters was in Florida, he is now currently living in Florida. He said, I know the hospital that Thomas has been admitted. I will go and see him. And he also said that he knows the owner of that hospital. And he went there, but he was unable to locate him. I think there was so many names, and he sent a message on Facebook again saying, does anybody know his date of birth? And Arno Goder sent a message to Shell Peterson via Facebook saying, can you please tell the date of birth of Thomas Osman so that we can really identify who and where Thomas is. When I saw this message, I went to Facebook. I went to Thomas Osman's Facebook profile, and I found that May 24th, 1955 was his birthday. Immediately, I passed this message to Mondeneji, and the contact was made. He was there, and thanks to Almighty, Osman was finally classified as a negative person. He was not positive, and he was transferred to a hotel and then flown back to Sweden to join his family. Now, why I said this to you is because you see how the JC network works. And remember, everything about what really happened when Thomas Osman was all alone in Florida, nobody in a hospital during this pandemic, there was a JC who was willing to help him. And Mondeneji was there till he left Florida back to Sweden. And it was the old brigade. 3 past world president, the staff headquarters. A member from the JCI World Headquarters. You see, I have always felt our organization is full of individuals who are there to give up. Look at Sunil. I know his hands are full in business, in the Lions, but you call him and tell him something about JCs, he will never refuse. But we are all the old brigade. We are not the young members. It's you, the members, who are our current strength. So we are always there to guide you and help you. But what is the difference between us and the current members is that we, the older generation, is full of passion. We have a lot of passion for the organization. There's absolutely no doubt. The reason we are full of passion is because we have got so much from the organization. And we didn't get it just like that. We gave for the organization. We were always willing to give for the organization, be a part of the organization, and we got the maximum benefit from the organization. And as Sunil said, I am what I am today because of the JCs. I have no university graduation certificate. It's only the University of JCs. But I have graduated to be what I am today because of this wonderful organization called JCs. I am full of obligation to the organization, full of passion. I've attended 48 JCI conferences, 35 World Congresses, 83 in all. Can anyone match that? Why am I going? My passion, to give back to the organization. This is a great organization for the young people between the ages of 18 and 40. Make use of this organization. This pandemic is not the end of us, for everyone. No. It's there for us, and we are going to come out of this all together. President Tariq only gave me 5 minutes to speak. I think I've gone beyond that. So I shall conclude. Sunil, thank you very much for that brilliant presentation. I wish, as you said, there was a much bigger audience because you had full of things that you had to say that is very valuable when we are going through a pandemic like this. And I'm sure that we will all come out of it. I wish you all the very best. Once again, finally, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this program. Wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, past World President Isfahani Samin, for your kind words of wisdom. Now I would like to open up the floor for questions. You can unmute yourself and then you can raise your questions for Sunil sir. We also have the option of Zoom chat as well, where you can put down your questions. Okay, so I have a question. I myself, I work in the outsourcing industry. Like I'm into the calls and outsourcing services, and I'm into business development. So during all our discussions which we have with our management during the past 5 to 8 weeks, it's almost what the outcome is negative. So I have been trying to, as a salesperson, I've been trying to convince my management there'll be some light at the end of the tunnel, but then it seems to be very, very difficult to convince them, and they are still in that mentality that even within another 3 to 4 or 1 year's time, the outsourcing, especially the call center outsourcing industry, wouldn't pick up. So, from based on your experience, what do you think is the best way that an industry like what I work in, the outsourcing industry, what best ways do you suggest that we may to come over this situation that we are currently faced in?
You're not the only one running through such a challenge today. Please start with that premise that whatever shortcoming is being noticed by your organization is noticed globally by all industries. So it starts off with a presumption which must unlock your mindset to confirm that I can't do business the way I've been doing it. Whatever made me successful in the past may support me, but will not make me successful again in future. There have to be new approaches. We are talking about distance customers now. Earlier we knew of a concept called distance learning. Now we are looking at distant customers. Thanks to a lot of digitization that is supporting the current pandemic, it's keeping the world actively connected. Please understand this. This is a huge strength. Imagine the disasters that came before. We never had communication as our strength. Today we have communication as a very, very big strength. So you need to use this to get your specialization across. It need not be local. It need not be national. It can go regional. It can go global. And you need to find better ways to do it. Because the opportunities that were there before, I think there'll be many more opportunities. Many more opportunities. I took the example of Zoom. I don't know how many of us here who are now connected with Zoom were connected with Zoom 2 months ago. Very few of us. But today, we are pushed to get connected. We can't be quiet. So, my dear friend, keep your mind open. Start looking at different directions. Don't merely end your vision with what you are aware of. Identify something more in your vision, which you can't see today, but it does exist there. And I think you will find somewhere a door opening. If the regular door is closed, a new door will open, and that's all I can say. So I see outsourcing as an opportunity that will continue. It can't end now. It's a pause time, but then you need to find out better ways to continue to do what you've been doing, because your clients have to be different. Your clients may be a distant client. Your clients may be a global client. And for sure, coming from South Asia, I think we stand to a very big gain. Earlier, the world was very comfortable with China, but today the world is looking at South Asia. And I think we need to capitalize on it. We are linguistic-wise, we are better accepted. Commitment-wise, we are better accepted. So a lot of new opportunities will come up. So you may have to add, along with outsourcing, another skill to your existing resource pool so that you're able to do a little more than merely outsourcing. Connect outsourcing with an allied subject, with a related subject, and take life forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Any more questions that we have? Shamsha, do we have any questions from the audience?
I think we can wind it up if we are done. So.
Okay.
Tariq, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Sunil sir. And now I would request for some feedback from the audience. Can I kindly request our immediate past national president, Senator Anas Hussain, to speak a few words on this session?
Unexpected, Tariq. I think it's been a long session. I think we all enjoyed, and it was a very good insight from past Executive Vice President JCI, Senator Sunil Kumar. So we had to continue doing all these as this is a tough time for all of us. As JCI, we'll have to each members. We have a huge membership and we are entrepreneurs. So this is the time that we have to show that true JCism that we have built up over the last few years. And thanks to all the seniors for coming up in front for us to guide throughout this pandemic situation. So thank you JCI Colombo for inviting me also for this session, and thank you once again JCI Senator Sunil Kumar for and giving us this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, IPNP Anas, Senator Anas Hussain. I would like to hear a few words from our National Director from JCI Bangladesh, Mahira Abib, who was also my mate at the Nalanda, where we met Sunil Kumar sir for the first time.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Tariq, for inviting. Actually, when I saw our Sunil sir is taking the session, so I could not resist myself. So it was really good to hear sir once again, and really good to see all the members here from JCI Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, and of course from few members from Bangladesh as well. So all the very best to all of you, and thank you so much, Sunil sir. It was really nice listening to you after a long time, and also I would like to thank past President Ispahani sir. It was nice hearing you as well. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Mahira. One final feedback, I would like to request JC Bilal Gopa, President JC Prajwal Jain, to speak a few words, who was also part of the Nalanda team last year at Bangalore.
Thank you very much, Tariq sir. When in the beginning I saw the Sunil Kumar sir poster about the session, I was very happy and I wanted to attend it. Whenever I was listening his session, I was remembering our Nalanda days. It was really wonderful, and as always, Sunil Kumar sir gives us a lot of motivation that encourages us to do a lot of legendary works. So this was an amazing session. Thanks to Tariq sir for hosting an effective session from Sunil Kumar sir. A lot of learning happened, and the words of Ispahani sir, it was amazing. We came to know that how JCism is in our blood and how we can help others by our JCism. So it was a nice opportunity for us to learn and to unlearn the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prajwal Jain. Now we move on to the next line item in the agenda. Now I request our director individual, JC Nakib Nawaz, to convey the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Tariq. It is a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks to a forum of local and international participants. First and foremost, I thank our international trainer, JCI Senator Sunil Kumar, for allocating time and educating us on a timely topic, tomorrow for entrepreneurs, despite your busy schedule. Our gratitude to LOM presidents of Bangladesh, India, and Nepal for encouraging their members' participation. A special thank you for 2015 International Vice President JCI Senator Khalilur Rahman, also International President 1989 JCI Senator Isfahani Samim, National President of JCI Sri Lanka JC Dilhan Jayatilaka, and all the non-members for attending this forum. I thank all of the participants joining us today by investing your valuable time. I believe it was a benefiting one. Last but not the least, I thank the board members of JCI Colombo for taking the effort to organize this event and making it a success. Thank you all once again for your attention. Stay safe. God bless you.
Thank you, JC Nakib, for the vote of thanks. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Sunil sir and all the participants of today's session. Your presence on the webinar actually made this a successful one, and we very much expect your valued participation in the upcoming sessions that we have lined up. Thank you so much. Sunil Kumar sir, do you have any words to say before we conclude the session for today?
Well, I'm so grateful to all of you for this opportunity, and I am extremely delighted to be associated, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sunil Kumar sir. So that comes to the end of the session for today on the value of JCI for entrepreneurs. Now I would like to terminate the session for today at 5:34 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Thank you so much everyone for joining in, and I wish you, I would rather tell you to stay safe and stay indoors during this pandemic situation. Take care. Have a nice evening. Thank you, everyone.